Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to our next Herbal Counselor course or Herbal Hour class, however you want to look at it. Certified Herbal Counselor. Some people are signing up for that. Some people are already Herbal Counselors. Good evening, Yolanda.
Hello, how are you today?
Good, good. Nice to see you.
Likewise.
Some people are signing up for the Herbal Counselor. Some people are just taking it as a Herbal Hour. Some people are already in the Herbal Counselor course and they're using this to review. And so I was thinking after I do this class, I was thinking about going ahead and doing the next class, which is going to be the Health and Nutrition Counselor. So we'll see how that goes. I kind of want to see how long this lasts. And, since it's only an hour at a time, I can only go so fast. But then what I was thinking is, those people that are interested in becoming certified health and wellness, health and nutrition counselors, we can move into that if you're interested, if there's interest. And so usually there's interest in learning. So tonight we're going to continue with our action of herbs, and it's the same slide set as last time here. Let me get this going. And it always wants to go to this view. So let me get rid of this view. Okay. So all of you have been here before, so I don't feel like I need to go over all this again. This is all my contact information. If you feel that you need it, you can let me know. So once again, I want to thank you for being here because there's all kinds of things, especially now that we're getting into the holidays. I was thinking about, debating about whether to do another class in November or if I shouldn't. So, I'm kind of back and forth on that. And so maybe you can all send me a message and let me know, hey, yes, I'd like to do another. I have one scheduled in 2 weeks. And, if that's something that's too much for you because the holiday's coming, then I can always postpone it and do one in December. And I'm perfectly fine with doing two, and I'm perfectly fine with just doing one. As you know, this is our disclaimer, and I always go over this in all my classes. So you know that Joyful Living Services cannot be held liable for any misuse. Hello, Beverly.
Hello.
For any misuse or malpractice of any techniques taught within the herbal class, nor for any injury, suffering, or distress caused by students undertaking the techniques discussed. All students must accept that they are wholly responsible for their actions relating to the practice of herbs and must adhere to the relevant laws in their country and state of residence. Students are responsible for ensuring that they have appropriate insurance for practicing in their country and state of residence. Joyful Living Services cannot be held responsible for any advice given by students to members of the public. Students must adhere to their local laws regarding the requirement for registration and or qualification as an herbalist before suggesting supplements or offering nutritional advice. So anytime you teach a class of any kind to anybody, it's really good to have a waiver, disclaimer, waiver. You're welcome to grab this and change Joyful Living Services to your company name and use it. Okay. It's a great way to protect everything that you talk about, especially if you're on social media and you're out there. It's really important. Okay. So we left off here and I thought I would start at carminatives. And if everybody would mute, I would really appreciate that. So I'll just go through here. We'll see how many we can get done tonight, and whatever we don't get done tonight, should be able to complete on the next class. Carminatives are herbal remedies that are rich in volatile oils. Through their activity, the digestive system is stimulated to work properly and with ease by coordinating, regulating gut contractions. The main action is to soothe and settle the gut wall, thereby easing gripping pains and helping in the removal of gas from the digestive tract. So if you know anybody that has really bad, gas pains and, they get spasms from gas, this would be very helpful. The compounds help increase gastric emptying and are mildly irritating to the gastric mucosa so that peristalsis is increased, thereby relieving cramping and expelling gas. Some of these herbal examples are aniseed, that's the picture I've got there, fennel, peppermint, lemon balm, chamomile, rosemary, ginger, and cinnamon. And there are more, but these are the top examples of carminatives. Okay, I have divided this word up here, cholagogues, just so you know how to pronounce it. Hello, hello. This is an action that has a specific effect of stimulating the flow of bile from the liver. There you go. And these are hepatics, and hepatics are herbal remedies with a wide range of ways, which aid the work of the liver. They tone, strengthen, and in some cases, increase the flow of bile. Okay, bitters and cholagogues all act as hepatics to some degree. Okay, so the secretion of bile is of great help to the whole digestive and assimilative process. And as we are what we eat, we are what we digest, right? So very important. The role of bile is primarily that of facilitating fat digestion, but also being a natural laxative and thus cleansing to the system. And we all know about the gallbladder. We all know that the gallbladder is a, like a reserve tank that holds the bile, thickens the bile, and then sends the bile into the duodenum. And so it's very important. So many people are losing their gallbladders and have lost their gallbladders. We want to make sure that that doesn't happen, because that causes or puts more stress on that liver, right? So the liver has to do all the work. So these herbs have a much deeper value than simply the release of bile. They help ensure a strong and healthy liver, very important, and so enliven the whole being. So we've got golden seal here, turmeric, and fringe tree. And of course, there again, there are more. Okay, kind of changed by itself. Okay, colorectic. These are herbs that specifically increase the volume of bile produced by the liver. And they may be active hepatic stimulants, bitters, or alteratives. I'm not going to be able to pronounce some of these words. It's terrible. Okay, so by stimulating the production of bile, the body is better able to release toxins through acting as a natural laxative and improving detox capacity of cells and tissues. All right, so fringe tree, turmeric, and golden seal.
Is that a picture of the fringe tree?
That's a picture of the fringe tree. So I switched these around just so I could get some other pictures in there. Okay. Okay, demulcents. Demulcents, these are herbs that are rich in mucilage. And mucilage, you can think of something like a sponge, something like aloe vera, something slimy, okay? They soothe and protect irritated or inflamed internal tissues. When they're used on the skin, they're called emollients. Okay, demulcents are used whenever a membrane is raw, hot, irritated, inflamed, overexcited. These are cooling, soothing, healing, and relaxing. And you can see here I highlighted, they're gummy, slimy, okay? These gummy, slimy chemicals have a clear and direct action on the lining of the intestines that soothes and reduces irritation by direct contact. In the intestine, many of these herbs act as a form of soluble fiber, absorbing water and having a bulking and stool soften effect. Okay. So there are many things. And in general, all mucilage containing demulcents have general properties of reducing irritation down the whole length of the bowel, reducing the sensitivity of the digestive system to gastric acids, helping to prevent diarrhea and reducing digestive muscle spasms, easing coughing by soothing the bronchial tension, relaxing and easing painful spasms in the bladder and urinary system, and sometimes even the uterus. So important to note that the use of demulcents or mucilage-rich herbs internally may reduce rate of drug absorption, okay? So, we've talked about how not all herbs are safe, and also you have to know what herbs to use with what's going on in the body. If somebody's on medications, you have to be careful, right? So this can reduce the rate of drug absorption by forming a semi-permeable coating over mucous membranes, which can delay gastric emptying and binding with intestinal contents. This should be taken with drugs. Caution should be taken with drugs with a narrow therapeutic window, such as lithium, digoxin, and insulin. So if you know anybody with diabetes that's on insulin, you got to be careful, right? The interaction can be a benefit with some medications, such as verapamil and other calcium channel blockers, which can cause constipation by slowing transit time and increasing water absorption from the colon. Soluble fiber taken with lots of water may alleviate this. In general, always tell people and always take drugs, medicines, at least 1 hour prior to ingesting large amounts of plant fiber, complex polysaccharides. Always important, never to take herbs at the same time as meds. Okay, never take herbs the same time as medications, and always take herbs with food, because herbs are food. And so you want to make sure there's enough food in the stomach to be able to break down the herbs and to be able to absorb the herbs, and also to not take them with meds, because there can be contraindications. Okay, so some of your examples are couch grass, marshmallow leaf or root, corn silk, comfrey, slippery elm. Most of us know what slippery elm is. You know, if you make slippery elm tea, it kind of has that, it's kind of slimy, but it also is kind of tastes like dirt, you know. So and then licorice, that's another one. Slippery elm is great for anything with the bowels, any kind of irritation with the bowels. And comfrey, we know, is a bone knitter, and corn silk, we know, is great for kidney pain and bladder, and you know, all these things. So lots of good things there. Okay, diphoretics, these promote sweating. And you know, too bad I didn't know that when I was a kid, because my mom never sweat.
Yeah.
My mom never sweat. We went on a trip one time, I never forget. We went on a trip one time, and we were driving through the mountains in Livermore, and her face got red and she got hot, and we actually had to pull over because she was hot, and but she didn't sweat.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these actually promote sweating. And the value is that it helps the skin eliminate waste from the body. And as we know, the skin is the third kidney. It's one of the major ways in which the body ensures a clean and harmonious inner environment. Okay. Traditionally, these have been used to increase sweating during fevers, in the belief that this will help the body throw off they say throw off the problem, you know, help the body to eliminate the toxins or eliminate the waste, right? Or detox. So many of these remedies will cause a dilation of surface capillaries, thus helping poor circulation. Okay? And they can support the work of the kidney by increasing cleansing through the skin. Thus, they have a role in holistic treatment of kidney problems, but also any broadly based approach to health. And you've got boneset, cayenne, elderberry flower, ginger, yarrow, and catnip. Okay. Now, if somebody's sick and they have a cold, what's a really good thing to do is to get a capsule of ginger and dump it in warm, or you know, as warm bath water as possible, and then get in that, and that makes you sweat, right? And so that helps with helps the body to eliminate any kind of ginger is really good. Ginger bath, yeah. You don't want to do too much, you know, but one capsule is good. Okay, diuretics, there's different kinds. So this is stimulating diuretics. A diuretic is a remedy that increases the secretion and elimination of urine for the body. And most of us know what a diuretic is. You take it and then you go to the bathroom, right? It helps you eliminate water from the body. It's a substance that will increase the volume of urine produced in healthy or unhealthy kidneys by promoting the excretion of salts in water. They're used to reduce edema, especially in heart, liver, or kidney disorders, to treat high blood pressure, and to occasionally to treat glaucoma. They have a vital role in any good treatment of illness, as they will help the body eliminate waste and support the whole process of inner cleansing that's needed. Okay. There are 3 broad groups. They're stimulating, osmotic, and cardiac output. Okay, so the stimulating ones increase kidney blood flow, and the osmotic reduce the water reabsorb. I thought I fixed that. It should be reabsorption in the nephrons of the kidney, and then there's also cardiac output. So stimulating diuretics work by irritating the kidneys. It doesn't sound very good, right? That it irritates the kidneys, so they will try to flush away the offending substance. And they also include caffeine-containing herbs such as tea and coffee. It increases the blood flow in the kidneys by effects in the heart or elsewhere in the body. Okay, and because there's more blood passing through the kidney, more urine is therefore produced. So here we have some stimulating diuretics: bearberry, juniper, celery, silver birch, and parsley. Most of us know parsley, right? Most of us know that parsley will make you go to the bathroom. But what it does, it's a stimulating diuretic, so it's actually irritating. Then we have osmotic, and osmotic diuretics work via many different means, but often cause diuresis due to constituents such as mainly mucilage and polysaccharides, which cause a nerve reflex reaction through the gut lining via the vagus nerve to thin and loosen mucus secretions to be excreted via the kidney. Okay. And so we've got corn silk, which most of us know corn silk is great for kidneys and kidney pain, kidney stones, and things like that. Couch grass, marshmallow, and dandelion root. And a lot of people think, well, dandelion is for the liver, but it's also kidneys. Okay, it's also kidneys. Okay, cardiac or peripheral circulatory stimulants, those work by increasing renal blood flow, and hence, and I notice how I put little dashes in between the word there, and hence the glomerular filtration rate. I can't pronounce it, so I put the little line so it would help. So up to a certain point, any excess glomerular filtrate can be reabsorbed from the kidney tubules. But if it's too high, then the urine volume will increase. And these are herbs like yarrow and hawthorn and Scotch broom and lily of the valley. Now, yarrow is really great if somebody's bleeding. Okay, it will help to stop bleeding. Hawthorn, we know, hawthorn heart is great for the heart. Okay, so those are a couple that I work with that have been really helpful. Emetics. Emetics are herbs that will induce vomiting. Okay, and their use really isn't used really in medicine today. The main use is in the first aid treatment of poisoning, where they will empty the content of the stomach. And it works through irritation of the stomach or the nervous system. Okay, so lobelia is we most of us know about lobelia. You should know about lobelia. You know, if you take too much of it, it will make you vomit. Okay, and ipecac. We've always said that everybody should have ipecac in their medicine cabinet. It is an herb that will make you vomit. Okay. Emmenagogue, or however you say that word. I know probably Jackie knows how to say that. These are remedies that stimulate and regulate menstrual flow and function. And this is a remedy that normalizes and tones the female reproductive system. Okay, uterine tonics and hormonal normalizers can often be included in this group, such as mugwort, yarrow, black cohosh, blue cohosh. Be very careful with black cohosh. I'm the kind of person that if one is good, five is better. And so, you know, I went ahead and thought, well, if one is good, five is better on black cohosh. Not a good idea. So I had a splitting headache the entire day after taking 5 black cohosh. So that whole idea of one is good and 5 is better is not always necessarily true. One of my very first clients, when I got out of Dr. Jensen's certification course, one of my very first clients had a friend. And my client went on a bowel cleanse, a detox with psyllium and bentonite, hydrated bentonite, and, you know, herbs to help the bowels and all that, to clean everything. And it was psyllium hulls powder, and it was use a heaping teaspoon of psyllium to a large glass of juice and water and put, a teaspoon of hydrated bentonite in it, and take your herbs, shake it up really well, and take your herbs with it. And see, I've never forgotten this. And well, I guess he had a friend that thought that 1 teaspoon was good, but 3 was better. So out of the blue, this guy calls me up. I don't know who he is. And he says, guess what? I'm a friend of so-and-so. And I decided to try the cleanse, and I took 3 teaspoons instead of 1. And now I can't go to the bathroom. And so, so always be careful. Always know the, muscle test or scan or do whatever you do to figure out, what's going to be, what's healthy and what's not. And tell people to be careful, not to take too much, because it's always better to take less and go slow than it is to take too much. Okay, emollients. These are remedies that soften, soothe, and protect the skin. They're used externally and have a similar role for the skin that demulcents do internally. They usually act beneficially through the mucilage or oil component. Okay, it's usually a gel that soothes, moistens, and protects inflamed or irritated nerve endings on mucous membranes to cool, heat, and burn. Okay, they may be applied as a gel, such as aloe vera, lotions and creams or pastes, and useful whenever protective and anti-inflammatory effects are required for healing. So there's pictures of plantain. And then, of course, most of us know about aloe vera. I showed you my aloe vera plant in the beginning of class. And that thing is growing like crazy. It's got all these little babies on the bottom. It's amazing how fast. It's just north-facing window. It seems to really like north-facing window if you have one in your house. And then, of course, chickweed. That's another herb that's really good. Okay, expectorants. Most of us know what that is. It helps to remove excess mucus from the lungs, right? There are 3 main categories of expectorants. We have stimulating expectorants. We have excessive mucus production. Well, stimulating expectorants are indicated for cases of excessive mucus production. I've got these split up here. They often work by chemically irritating the lining of the bronchioles to stimulate the expulsion of congested material within the lungs and bronchioles by increasing the activity of the mucociliary escalator, as they call it. They're often emetics at high doses, meaning it can make you throw up, as they appear to work by way of reflex action on the lining of the gut. Okay. And so this is licorice, L-campane, bloodroot, hyssop, and lobelia. Okay. And so most of us know, especially those of us that have children or had little kids, we know when they get all mucousy, you want to get that out, right? You want to get that out so it doesn't go down into their lungs and cause problems. Okay, so then we have soothing and relaxing. And these are indicated when excessive or sticky mucus produces an unproductive and or irritable type cough, right? When somebody's coughing, they can't get that mucus out, right? It's just irritating. Okay, where they soothe bronchial spasms and loosen mucus secretions. So some of these herbs owe their action to their mucilage content and volatile oils, and generally derive their action by relaxing body tissues, encouraging the production of a thinner, looser mucus, which is more easily voided. So you got marshmallow there, colt's foot, licorice, plantain, mullein. We all know mullein. That's the one that I brought in. And I'll bring it again because it's coming up again. I pulled them all and they don't die. Even if you pull the plants, the roots are still under the ground. And so now, I've got like 30 of them coming up, and they're coming up all over the place. So I'll bring one in. But mullein, and then of course fenugreek. And a lot of people use fenugreek and thyme. That's marshmallow. Yeah, that's marshmallow root. That's marshmallow root. Yeah. And fenugreek and thyme, a lot of people use fenugreek and thyme for sinus, congestion, when they want to break that up and get that out. It's a really good one. Okay, so then we have expectorant, we have respiratory tonic or amphoteric, however you say it, amphoteric. There you go. Okay, so respiratory tonics may be stimulating or soothing depending on the body's need and will often aid in the regeneration of damaged or inflamed lung tissue. And here's a picture of horsetail. That's what it looks like. Golden seal, plantain, and licorice. Yeah, it looks like a horse's tail, doesn't it? Looks like bamboo with leaves. Yeah, it looks to me, it looks like a tail. Yeah. All right. Febrifuge. Okay, so these are remedies that reduce fevers and are synonymous with the term antipyretic. So fever control with herbal remedies is quite effective. However, the focus should be on aiding the body's natural recuperative processes rather than just dropping the temperature, right? If you want to drop the temperature, you can go take some Advil or some, or some aspirin or something else that you don't want to take, right? Best thing to, if you really want to drop a temperature, you can jump in the bathtub, right, with some cool water. That'll help lower if it's too high. Okay, so the key is to help the body through the fever and at the same time reduce excessive suffering from the symptoms. Okay, so peppermint, elderberry and flower, meadowsweet, and willow. These are some herbal examples of febrifuges. And that's peppermint right there. All you have to do is get a little piece of peppermint, a little branch, and stick it in the ground wherever you live. And that and rosemary, some of these plants, they'll take over. And if you take any of these aromatic plants like rosemary or peppermint or any of these aromatics, if you have like fruit trees that the ants go up, the ants go up and eat the fruit. If you plant these at the base of the trees, it doesn't have to be very much. You can put one little sprig at the bottom. It'll take over that whole area. You can train it to take over. And then the bugs won't go up. The ants won't go up. They won't bother the tree. They don't like the smell. So that's a natural way. Would you put someone in the bath if they have pneumonia? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I'd work with their chests and their feet. Okay, so here we have galactagogue. These are herbs that will increase the flow of breast milk in a lactating woman. This would have been great when I had my kids. I didn't know about this. They do this safely without forcing any hormonal pressure on the body. And it's essential for general health to be at the peak, okay, for them to do their work. So here you have fennel, chasteberry, alfalfa, hops, goat's rue, and fenugreek. And that first plant, that's fennel. Yeah, so if you have a client that's, a woman that's having a hard time with breastfeeding, that could help. Heart tonics. Heart tonics are also called cardiac tonics, and they work by supporting the natural, healthy function of the heart. They're pretty much essentially adaptogens. Okay, and we've already talked about adaptogens and how they work when they need to. And if you don't need them, then they don't really kind of do anything. They just help you adapt. So we have motherwort and hawthorn. Those are both heart tonics. This is motherwort here. Hepatics, right? These hepatics work on the liver. They're herbal remedies with a wide range of ways that they aid the work of the liver. They tone, strengthen, and in some cases increase the flow of bile. And bitters and cholagogues all act as hepatics. So milk thistle, most of us know what milk thistle is. I actually have it growing on my property. Dandelion root, that's another one. Artichoke, licorice, and turmeric. Okay, those are all really good. Hepatoprotective or hepatoprotective, however you want to pronounce it. There's the artichoke right there. Okay, these herbs work to protect normal liver function and protect the liver from damage. Okay, the liver has a big and difficult job, which we know. It performs over 6,000 functions at any 1 second in your body. Everything pretty much goes through and is kind of It's almost kind of controlled by the liver, and so the liver is huge. It's also affected very easily by anger and a lot of other emotions, especially if people hold on to those emotions. So really important anytime you're working with the liver to not only work physically with the liver on a physical level with the herbs, but also emotionally and help people address their emotions, okay, that they may be holding on to, especially anger. So artichokes, number one. Okay, burdock is really great. That cleans the blood, really great. Dandelion's another one. Milk thistle, schizandra, and turmeric. Those are all really good herbs for the liver to protect the liver. Hormone balancers or normalizers often contain chemical precursors or can affect circulating levels of endogenous sex hormones such as estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, LH, FSH, and cortisol. Okay, so they have many uses, but are most often included in cases of endocrine imbalance such as menopause, premenstrual syndrome, PCOS, fibroids, prostate disorders, and sexual dysfunctions. And that is a picture of black cohosh right there. That's what that looks. It's really pretty, actually. And so there's black cohosh. The leaves, yeah, the leaves are down at the bottom. You can't. These are the flowers that you're looking at. So chaste tree, sage is another one. False unicorn, wild yam, white peony, and sarsaparilla. And most people have heard of black cohosh and they've heard of wild yam. You think of those things and you think of hormones. Sarsaparilla is another one that most people have heard of. False unicorn. Look at that flower. I was thinking about it, this is hypnotic, right? And passion flower, I was looking for pictures of, if you go online and you look for pictures of passion flower, they all look like this. They all have this really amazing, they're beautiful like this, but it is kind of hypnotic. If you stare at it long enough, it's so pretty. So these remedies will help to induce a deep and healing state of sleep. So many people have problems sleeping. So many people have insomnia. So many people, their brain just doesn't stop. They're ready to go to bed. They're tired. They lay down and boom, their brain just starts going. It just doesn't stop. Okay. These are synonymous with sedatives. Many are nervine relaxants when used in high doses. They let's see, the mode of action vary from mild muscle relaxing properties through volatile oils that ease psychological tension to remedies that contain strong alkaloids that work directly on the nervous system to induce sleep. Okay, so these herbs should always be used within the context of an overall approach to sleep problems involving relaxation techniques, food, lifestyle. So include meditation and relaxation and, walking the dog and, nice warm baths with candles and slant boards and, all these different things to help people. I usually talk to people about brain dumping, go to bed and all of a sudden your brain is just going, you're thinking about all these things, you're laying there for a half an hour, you can't go to sleep. It's like, get up, get a piece of paper and just start writing everything down. Because usually it's okay, what do I have to do tomorrow? What do I have to do with my kid? And, what do I have to give it? All these things, you just write them all down until your brain is empty. And then a lot of times people go to sleep. There's also meditations, that people can do to help relax the body, starting from the toes down, toes and going up the body and relaxing the body, lots of things. So passion flower is an example of hypnotic, kava kava, California poppy, wild lettuce, Jamaican dogwood, and valerian. And Valium is made from valerian. So valerian is great, especially, if that's a really good one to have on hand, like a liquid valerian is good to have on hand. So if you or somebody that wakes up in the middle of the night, you can just put the valerian, liquid in your mouth or under your tongue, around in your mouth, any place. And a lot of times it's just enough to kind of soothe you so that, you'll relax and then go back to sleep. And so, that works that works actually really well. Valerian root. Okay, hypoglycemic herbs work to help lower blood sugar. Jackie said valerian essential oil under the feet. Okay, yeah, good. Thank you. Okay, hypoglycemic herbs work to help lower blood sugar. So we've got green tea, cinnamon, fenugreek, garlic, mulberry, and oregano. Okay. I use berberine a lot to lower blood sugar. So if somebody's pre-diabetic and they come in, then I'll use berberine a lot to lower blood sugar. That works really well. You can add that on there. That's a picture of green tea, field of green tea. I went hunting when I put this together for pictures. Okay, hypotensive herbs help to reduce blood pressure. These herbs work by many different mechanisms to help lower blood pressure. Some may act as diuretics, heart tonics, or antispasmodics. And notice this, look at the way this looks. This is cayenne, capsicum, and look at how it looks. A lot of the herbs look like the part of the body that they help. Okay, that's red, right? And it looks like, doesn't it look kind of like a vein? Okay, so you know that's for the circulatory system. That helps the circulatory. Yeah, it's also used as a catalyst. It's used in a lot of combination herbs to get the combination to work. But it is definitely a good one for the circulatory system. So cayenne, garlic, ginger, green tea, hawthorn, passion flower. These are all great for hypotensives. Another one to lower blood pressure is celery. Celery juice, drinking fresh squeezed celery juice every morning, a good 4 ounces. Squeeze, juice it and then drink it right away. And that is a really good way to help lower blood pressure also. Don't juice it at night and drink it in the morning because it won't work. I had a client that did that. She didn't have time, so she juiced it at night, put it in the refrigerator and drank it in the morning. It didn't work. So I said, no, juice it and drink it. And then it worked. Immunomodulators. There's a lot of information here. And so I'm definitely not going to read all this. Immunomodulators, and they help the immune system, okay, the body's natural response to disease. And it's important to use caution when you're suggesting herbs as immune stimulants, like natural antibiotics, right? And it's better to work with the body basically as a whole. Okay, it's better to work with the body as a whole. Immune stimulants lead to nonspecific stimulation of our immunological defenses. So you can see here, immune modulation denotes any effect an herb will have on the immune system responsiveness. For an example, these herbs may stimulate T suppressor cells, thereby reduce immune resistance and stimulate macrophages and natural killer cells. Others will enhance the production of antibodies within acting as antigens themselves. So you just need to work with the body as a whole when you're working with the immune system. So here's some examples. Here are immunomodulators. These are deep immune activation, okay? And herbs in this group are also referred to as deep immune tonics or immune modulators. They're used where there is a chronic problem or where the immune system needs feeding and strengthening, and usually used in combination with other body system. So here we go, the body as a whole, okay, in combination with other body system tonic herbs where a weakness has been identified. Because usually it's not just the immune system, right? It's usually other things going on as well. So there's your reishi mushroom and astragalus, which is an adaptogen, and Caudonopsis, shiitake mushroom, turkey tail, privet, and schizandra. Okay, so these are all immunomodulators. deep immune activation. But you also have to be careful. You have to know when to use these, right? Because
These considered like funguses, so you can probably not know if it's
yeah,
gonna kill you or not, so to speak. It
well,
would be bad to your system.
well, you know, there's a lot of talk about reishi mushroom and a lot of the mushrooms that are good for you. You just have to know what you're doing, right? Okay, so here is immunomodulators. These are surface immune activation, okay, and antimicrobials or immune boosters that often act directly on bacteria or virus while also stimulating the function of the immune system as a whole. Okay, and so you know, if you've got a client that's having problems with bacteria or virus, things like that, yeah, but the question is why? And you know, what else is going on? There's usually other things going on. Okay, is it their diet? Is it their environment? You know, have they been around other people? You know, what's going on? So there's wild indigo, garlic, echinacea, thuja, and old man's beard. Most of us know about garlic. You know, you can wear gloves and slice garlic really, really thin, put it between your toes, and within seconds, you'll have garlic breath. That's how fast the allicin goes through your system. It's just instant, goes right through. So my echinacea plant that I brought in at the beginning of class is very interesting. It's all black now. It didn't dry up and the petals didn't fall off. I should have just brought one in and just show you. I cut them, but it's still standing up really tall and it still looks the same. It's just black. It's just so I just cut them all back, but they don't die. So you know, because they're tubers, so they'll withstand hot temperatures and snow, and it's good to have that around. Okay, here we have adaptogenic action or hormonal modulation. And you know what adaptogens are. Adaptogens work when you need them. Okay, herbs in this group work through some hormonal modulation of the immune response. Okay, and so, you know, adaptogens exert their effects through saponins via the adrenal glands. Okay, so if you have anybody with adrenal fatigue, in iridology, we know that as people that have very large pupils. If you have somebody that has very large pupils, then a lot of times they'll have adrenal fatigue. And adaptogens are very, very helpful for that. They help people to adapt to their environment, adapt to their stress. Okay, so Siberian ginseng, the ginsengs are all adaptogens. Siberian ginseng, Chinese Korean ginseng, and licorice. These are adaptogens. So yep, yeah. So this is Siberian ginseng here. I thought that was really pretty. Yep. Yep, it does look like a berry nut. Yep. Okay, laxatives. I think most of us are familiar with laxatives and how they work and how stimulating they can be. And senna, which is the one there on the top, be very careful with it. It's addictive, okay? And so if you're going to suggest it to anybody, just for a little bit. I had a client that took it for like 3 years. And you know, and then after a while the bowel just will not work without it, and then they have to go to, you know, enemas every day, and you know, so you lose that muscle tone. So it's good if, you know, if you've got somebody. I had a client in San Francisco that was a truck driver, and he sent his wife in, and she hadn't had a bowel movement in 18 days. You know, these are years old. These are stories that happened a long time ago, but they're ones that I've never forgotten. And, you know, she was kind of a gray color. And so, you know, what did we have to do? We had to get that bowel open. So using senna and using enemas and retention enemas and all, you know, aloe vera and oils. And, you know, we got everything open and got her going. And then it's just keeping her going, right? So laxatives are herbs that in some way stimulate the bowels to promote bowel movements. Okay. And there's different kinds. There's bitters, hepatics, and there's that word that I put the dashes in, gogus. I'm sure I pronounced that wrong. Bulking or osmotic and stimulant, okay, purgatives, violent remedies that are, you know, that are not so great. Okay. And there's two modes of action, stimulating or osmotic laxatives. Stimulating laxatives are often those herbs that contain the plant constituent anthraquinones, and their action is to stimulate greater contractions of the muscle walls of the large intestine. And this occurs between 8 to 12 hours after taking a remedy. Okay, so the only problem with this is it can cause pain. It can cause uncomfortable and gripping pain in the abdomen. And guess what? Your client is not going to like you at all. Okay, but this can be alleviated with the use of a carminative. So, stimulating laxatives should not be used for a long time. And, it can cause too much trouble. Cascara is another one. It can be habit forming. So, it's okay to use it for a while, and then it's really good to kind of switch off. Okay. So senna, turkey, rhubarb, cascara, burdock, and yellow dock, you don't want to really use them for a long period of time, but there can be used. They're very useful. It's just that, and there's a lot of stores carry that weight loss tea. If you look at, the herbal, I don't know if it's Celestial Seasonings or what the brand is, but if you look at a lot of those weight loss teas, they have senna in them. And, because it's like, well, most people are constipated, and, when you're not going, that's more weight in your body. And so opening up the bowel. But the problem is this irritates. And so then people have diarrhea, and they'll have pain and cramps, and, and then they have another problem to go on top of the problem they already had. So, really important to be careful. Okay, osmotic or bulking laxatives draw water to themselves and hold it in the colon, serving to soften the stool and give it bulk. Okay, also called bulking agents or stool softeners. Flax, psyllium, marshmallow. Okay, so there's psyllium seed, but there's also psyllium hulls. Okay, so flax, that's a picture of flax there. Some people are sensitive to psyllium hulls, and they can't take psyllium hulls, but they can take psyllium seed. So psyllium hulls, usually you can get it in bulk. That's the story I just told you. You put a teaspoon in, a big container, has a lid, put some juice in there, shake it up and drink it really fast. Okay. And then, and then make sure you take some herbs with it to help move things through. So, because that was, that goes through, and it's kind of like the broom for the bowel. It cleans the mucus rope out of there, especially if you add bentonite. You add the hydrated bentonite, it'll clean the mucus ropes. Okay. And just have to be careful, make sure that people are not getting more constipated. If it comes out looking like the shape of the bowel, that's not good. So you don't want people to, have problems. Yes, Miss Jackie?
Brenda, what is anthraquinones?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Okay, you can look that up. Higher levels. Okay, maybe somebody in this class knows. Anybody knows what that word is? Anthraquinones. Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
Oh, I see we have a couple. He said, hi, Paul. You're muted.
Oh, you finally got a chance to look, huh?
I finally got a chance to look. Yeah, I usually block all of it because it's distracting for me seeing people,
Oh,
moving
sure.
around and stuff.
I
So
get
I
it.
usually just kind of get rid of it. Nice to see you.
Oh, thank you.
Are you familiar with polyketide group?
No, that's not any help.
Sure.
Okay, well,
They're just chemical compound definitions right now, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Pharmaceutical definitions.
Well, Jackie, maybe you can look it up and you can tell us what it is.
It's okay, I looked it up. A yellow water insoluble crystalline powder.
Oh, I see.
And
Okay.
yeah, it's used chiefly in the manufacture of anthraquinone dyes.
Okay.
I have a little
Oh.
bit of a definition.
I'm still in the same place. when I asked the question.
All right. Well, there you go. Inquiring minds wanted to know. Okay.
By the way, they're antibacterial, antiparasitic, antisectile,
Oh,
fungicide.
good.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, that's good. Thank you for that. Both
Oh,
of
you're
you. Okay. Okay, lymphatics. So these herbs were considered blood purifying. I mean, we all know that, right? We've all heard of blood purifiers. Lymphatic herbs have the ability to move lymph and can increase lymphatic flow, moving fluid and protein away from areas of inflammation. So that fresh lymph, which is rich in oxygen and nutrients needed for tissue repair, can replace it. When the lymphatic system becomes congested, lymph nodes swell, lymphatic drainage becomes sluggish, which greatly impacts immune system surveillance and the removal of waste products from body tissues in the circulation. So, you can see people at the store, especially in the summertime, where their ankles get all really big and swollen. And I actually have a client that comes in here for foot baths, and she actually has a roll over that on top of that. So, that's water, but it's also lymph. And so massaging that, getting that moving, all of that's really important. Okay, these herbs play a vital role in helping the body fight infection, relieve inflammation, swollen glands, and edema, which is an accumulation of interstitial fluids, while supporting the health of the body as a whole. Okay, so these herbs, we got marigold there, cleavers, red root, poke root, red clover, and prickly ash. These are all real good for the lymph. And I don't know if you know this, but if you plant a garden and you plant marigolds around your garden, it's supposed to keep the bugs away from eating your garden. And so this one year, I thought, well, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try and see if it works. And I planted all these marigolds around my tomatoes. I had all kinds of squash planted and watermelon and all these things planted all over the side of my house all the way down. And the next day, all the flowers were gone.
Oh, the marigolds?
All the marigold flowers were gone. The plants are still there. Something came during the night and snipped all the top of the flowers off.
Oh, an animal that loves marigolds.
Yeah, this is down in San Jose, and I never figured out what it was. But I thought, oh well, this is great because I heard that it keeps the bugs away. The neighbors. Yeah, well, so yeah, so that'll be interesting if you try that. But there's multiple uses for marigolds. Nervines, right? We know nervines is relaxing. Okay, nervine is a plant remedy that has a beneficial effect upon the nervous system. Right? Okay, there's three major categories: nervine relaxants, nervine stimulants, and nervine tonics. So any successful treatment of nervous system problems with these herbs will involve treating the whole body and not simply the signs and symptoms. Okay, there's a reason the person is stressed out. So get to the cause. Anytime you're working with a client, anytime you're working with yourself, your family, your friends, and they have a problem, there's a cause. And, they may say, oh, you can ask them how long they've been suffering with such and such a thing. And they may say, oh, about 5 years. Well, okay, what happened 5 years ago? Something happened. There was some trauma, some kind of experience that occurred that happened. And ever since then, this person hasn't been the same. Okay, they may be stressed out. They may have anxiety. They may have other problems. Yesterday, I had a woman in here that her father died and all of the children ended up with health issues after he died, all of them. And, it goes back to that trauma. So, anytime there's a trauma. Okay, so nervine tonics are perhaps the most important contribution herbal medicine can make in the whole area of stress, anxiety, and strengthening and feeding the nervous system. In cases of nervous debility, the nervine tonics strengthen and restore the tissues directly. And adaptogens are always really good because they help there. Again, they help the body to adapt. Okay. Oats, Brahmi, borage, gotu-kola, St. John's wort, blue vervain, and periwinkle. These are all examples of nervine tonics. Okay, nervine relaxants are a group that has become increasingly important in our times of stress and tension. They are the closest natural alternative for the orthodox nerve tranquilizers, okay, but should always be used in a broad, holistic way. Too much tranquilizing, even that achieved through herbal medication, can in time deplete and weigh heavily on the whole nervous system. However, the physical symptoms that can so often accompany the ill ease of anxiety may be well treated with herbs that work on the anxiety itself. When the physical body is at ease, ease in the psyche is promoted. So many of these herbs can act as sedatives or hypnotics in high doses. So you've got lavender, hops, lemon balm, chamomile, wood betony, skullcap, passion flower, linden, wild lettuce, kava kava. Okay, that's a picture of lavender there. And, I've heard stories where people, you can, Epsom salt baths, really great to relax, right? Really great to relax the body. And you can put some lavender in the water. They now have lavender essential oil, Epsom salts for the bath. And put some lavender in there, really great to just kind of relax.
They
Okay.
have those salt pods, float therapy.
Float therapy.
Salt.
Yep. And then also putting lavender essential oil on the pillow. There's all kinds of things that you can do to help people to relax. But there again, it's getting them out of that tension, getting them out of that routine, helping them break the stress cycle. Really important. Meditation, walking, massage, acupressure, acupuncture. And there's so many things that can be done to help break that stress cycle. Stimulants, okay? Nervine stimulants cause a direct stimulation of the nervous system and not very often needed in our times of hyperactivity. In most cases, it is most appropriate to stimulate the body's innate vitality with the help of adaptogens, okay? Nervine or even digestive tonics, which work by augmenting bodily harmony and thus have a much deeper and longer lasting effect. The problem with commonly used stimulants such as coffee is that they have a number of side effects and can themselves be involved in causing many problems such as anxiety and tension. So coffee is a stimulant, cola and green and black tea are all nervine stimulants.
Coffee, tea, or
That's
cola?
that's coffee. So I see it in people, and my husband is perfect. He's just like mellow. And then if we go out to breakfast or something, he has coffee, boom, he becomes very aggressive. It's like almost like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Really a huge change in him. And everybody's different, but those are stimulants. Okay, so let me just do this one real quick and then we're going to end. Nutritive herbs are those high in vitamins and minerals. They help to nourish and ultimately sustain life. So we've got chickweed, dandelion, and stinging nettle there. There's a couple of, there's some examples. Okay, so at this point, what I want to do is go like I did last time. Let me go to the last page. I did, like I said at the beginning, I thought about doing another class this month. And there it goes again. It sets us up in this weird presenter. Okay, so I set it up for November 22nd, and I don't know if anybody wants to take a class at that time. So, because that's getting kind of close to Thanksgiving. So now, of course, we're not going to be able to do digestive system because we're going to be finishing this. So you can let me know if November 22nd will work. I'll send out an email. What I'm going to do is I'll send out the recording of this, and then I will say the next class is going to be November 22nd. Let me know if this will work. Otherwise, what we'll do is we'll go into December. And December is a crazy month also, so I'll probably just do one class in December, and then come January, we'll go on 2 classes a month and work that way. There again, if you want to become certified, you can become certified as an herbal counselor through this course. You know, these little herbal hours are free. You can just come in and listen and learn if you want. If you want to become certified, it's $350, and there's payment plans if you want it to become certified. Yolanda, you've got a question or a comment?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. So is the time frame when you do the class, is it this time that we're doing it? Like if I were to say I want to get certified, um, is it this time frame? Because I'm in St. Louis and it's like 9 o'clock for me, and I work Monday through Friday and I'm at work all day and running around. So I didn't know if it was a different time.
No, it's at this time. This is when I give these.
Okay.
But if this doesn't work for you, you can always watch the recordings too. Because I record everything, and I've got people that are watching the recordings that this doesn't work for them. So
Okay. So with the other question is the certification, because I'm in Missouri, is that certification good for all states?
it is good. Yes, it's good across the United States. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's approved
Um,
by the Board of Registered Nursing. Yes.
oh, okay. So in the quizzes and final exams, I guess we would have to talk more about how's the testing?
It's
Is it
it's it's easy.
okay? Because I'm
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, I just got a lot at this time of the night," and I'm like, I would want to watch this. Like, I'm a receptionist at my job, so I have a lot of downtime in the midst of transferring calls. So that's why I'm able to, study the iridology, and I want to be able to do this as well, probably starting next year. Because I do have an appointment November 22nd, and I won't be available around this time. But I am interested in the the certification. So
So I work it just like I do all my classes on my website on joyfullivingservices.com. There's a student login link, and that's where all my classes are. So if you were to, if you want to get certified, you go into that link. It's all password protected. You go in there anytime, and that's where the recordings are. That's where the quizzes are. That's where the handouts are. You go in there, you take the quiz whenever you want to, you hit submit, and it comes to me, and I grade it. And it's real simple. And then once you get to the end, there's a final, and it's done the same way. It's online. You just go in there, fill it out, and send it in.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Um,
We try to make it as painless as possible.
okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
What's the other question? Because I know somebody else may have one. So where would I get these herbs at? Do you have a place? Because I'm in Missouri, or I have to go find it? Because I have a few herbal shops around me, but I don't know if they have it to this degree.
Well, most people, are with herbal companies that do their quality control. If you can find an herb company that you trust that has good quality control where you can get the herbs, I work with Nature Sunshine, so they do all the quality control. I've been there, right? I've been to Utah, and I've been to their offices. I've seen, where they do their quality control. So,
Okay.
you get to pick and learn, what you trust. And that's really important, is the quality control. That's number one. Because there again, like we talked about, I don't know, you weren't there for the first classes, but there's a difference a lot of times between using the leaf and the root.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can go to the health food store and get something on sale because and you go, oh, I got this great herb, you know, it's on sale. I didn't spend as much money. You know, who knows? It might be old. Who knows? It might be the leaf when it should be the root. Same thing with ordering things online if you don't know the quality control. You know, does it have fillers? There's so many things. And you know, if you should be using the root, you need to know that. So,
Yes, I do.
you know, versus using the leaf, whereas the leaf may not be as potent. You might have to take more of the leaf, right, to get it to do what the, you know, instead of 3 capsules of the root, you might have to take 9 of the leaf, you know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's a lot to consider when you're buying herbs or vitamins or anything for that matter, you know.
Yes, you're right.
When you go to the store and you go shopping for food, you know, you're selective and you're trying to buy the best for yourself. And it always surprises me when people come in and say, I bought this and it only cost this much and I got a great deal. And I'm thinking, how old was that? You know?
I trust Nature's Sunshine as well. I take their chlorophyll, their slippery am, and their power beets. I've been dealing with them since when I went to my first iridologist in 2010. So yeah, I'm very familiar and I love their products. So, and I'm getting good results. I got my daughters on slippery am and they're like, Mom, my cycle is less. I love this. I'm going to the bathroom more often. So it's really working. So I mean, and I would add some of your suggestions of who you use as well. So I would be asking that if that's something that you offer as well with the class.
Yeah, and you know, there's no company that has everything. You know, that's the
That's
other
true.
thing to think about, right? So, you know, you kind of have to kind of pick and choose and you know, what one company has, another might not. And so
Okay.
it kind of depends on what you want to do, where you want to go with it. You know,
And it's okay to have more than one.
and it's okay to have more than one. Yeah, of
Right.
course, you know, and if you know, if it's just for your family, you know, that's one thing. But if you're going to actually go into business and, you know, promote these things, then you need to know, you know, do your research on the companies. I mean, I like Nature Sunshine, but I don't force anybody to use it. I think, you know, there's so many companies out there and people can choose what they want to use. But I also use Nucleic and I also use a couple of other companies. So that I've worked with for, you know, for many years. So
Now, when you had mentioned something about the testing, like if I had clients and they were, you know, outside of my family and friends, how would I be testing them? Like, is that something that you teach as well? Because I don't know kinesiology, I just had it done on me, but is that something that's taught as well? Because how would I know to tell them how much to take?
blood testing you're asking about?
Well, kinesiology, you know how when somebody's
Oh yeah,
laying
muscle testing. Yeah.
right, I don't know how to do that. I've had it done on me, but I've never took like a class to learn how to do that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I have a real simple muscle test class that I teach. There again, I need to update that. You can ask Jackie about that. She's been asking me to do
Okay.
it for a while. Where I want to actually turn it into a video as well. So, but there's a lady in Canada that teaches it, but there again, it's a book. So if you can find somebody, yeah, if you can find somebody locally that can teach it to you, that's the best.
Yeah.
I use Zyto. I use a Zyto scanner to scan the body. There's also the Healy. You can check into that. And I know there's other scanners out there. I like the Zyto, and I work with the Zyto Balance, and it scans for biomarkers. It scans the body, comes up with balancers. It's FDA approved, so I like that as well. And it does come back with suggestions of what the balancers are and how much to take. Whereas as us iridologists and naturopaths, we can't do that. You know, we can't diagnose and prescribe.
Correct.
I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to do that anyway. So I use muscle testing. I use the Zyto. I teach people how to muscle test themselves, and that works for me.
Okay, and I did that Zyto. Is that when you put your hand
Yeah,
on the thing. Okay, now
exactly.
is that something that you sell as well? How would I go about getting? Because I thought about I know I would need one of those.
I don't sell them, but I have an account. So if you go to zyto.com, zyto.com, you just go to their website, and then they have all kinds of things. I mean, you can spend $10,000 if you want
Ooh.
to, you know, or or you can just, spend 250 or 300. I think that's what they're running now. It'll ask you for a referral. You can put my name in there, and then I get a little commission.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So
And I guess, yeah, I would that because I didn't know how much those cost because that was accurate when I did mine long ago. And I kind of followed that regimen, but that was that was really, really real to me. And I'm like, oh, I would like something like that because people will know that you're just not saying something, you're just not
you
their
have to be
body.
careful. You have to be very careful not to diagnose and prescribe. If you have somebody that's comes in with, like an upset stomach, and you go over to your cabinet on your shelf, you take a bottle of alfalfa and you go, here, take this, and take 5 capsules 3 times a day. You've just broken the law,
That's right.
and you can get shut down. You can't do that. You can't prescribe. I mean, they're pushing it at the health food stores. When you go in there and you ask them for things, they're really on a fine line there. They're
So it's
concerned.
more of a suggestion. It's more of a, you know,
It's more of a suggestion. It's always better to use references.
yes,
Stephen
books.
Horn says in his book to do this, or
Yes, ma'am.
historically, this is what we've done in the past, or and that's why I run the Zyto, because the Zyto does it all, and I don't have to worry about it.
There
You
you
know.
go. Okay, that's good information. I don't want to take up nobody else's time.
Sure. Well, thank you. I mean, like you said, somebody else would ask the same question or something similar.
How much does it cost to get scanned by Zyto? I was wondering if I could do that.
Oh yeah, your husband said to
Yeah.
talk to you about it. Yeah. So I only charge 50 to do the scans. I don't charge a lot. And the thing, also, it can be done remotely. So
Oh,
it's also remote, and then it can also be done, now they have it for the phones. So, there's you can look into it. And like I said, also look into the Healy. That's another one. I think, Jackie, you have the Healy, don't you?
how do
Well,
you
you have
spell Healy?
Healy. You have both, right? Don't you have both?
I have Itovi scanner and I have the Zyto scanner.
Oh, it's
Itovi
not the
is
Healy.
linked,
Okay.
Itovi is linked with Young Living essential oils, and my Zyto is linked with Nature Sunshine products.
Okay. Okay. So you don't have the Healy. I know Birgit uses the Healy. She's president of IPA. She uses the Healy. That's another one and what is it? What's the other one that you use? What's it called that you use besides Zyto?
Itovi. Itovi.
Itobi. Okay. All right. So there's
Itovi. V as in
a,
Victor. Itovi.
Oh, V.
okay,
Itovi.
Itovi. All right. So there's a few suggestions of things that you can, look up and see what you're comfortable with. And I mean, if you want a demo, I've offered those to my iridology students. I'm happy to do a demo for you. So, if that's something you're like, well, I'm thinking about buying it, but I don't know if I want to invest $300, I can do a demo for you. You can just send me an email and I can do that.
Yeah,
So,
Brenda, I had a question.
yeah.
What about giving a disclaimer before you give an herb? So
Yeah.
you,
What are you going to say in your disclaimer?
well, telling them that you should still consult your doctor, give them all the facts about herbs, foods, natural healing methods, and then have a disclaimer that you should still consult your physician
Mhm.
and still have the appropriate offer to give them if they choose to.
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, we always have a disclaimer. Anybody that comes in here and does anything, they have to sign our waiver.
Yeah, sure.
Right. And then, if you've got somebody sitting across the table and they have fibromyalgia and they say, what can I do for this pain? And you say,
I don't treat. I never treat. That's one thing you always say. I don't treat, because you don't want to be known as a so-called physician. But you're looking at lowering blood sugar, lowering blood pressure, helping the body heal itself. You're not talking about anything medically.
Yeah, you have to be careful. You know,
Sure.
historically, we've used fibralgia to help people with fibromyalgia. Nature Sunshine suggests fibralgia for, you know, it's not Brenda that's doing it. It's
Sure.
Nature Sunshine that's doing it. It's Stephen Horn that's doing it, or, you know, then you can do that. Yeah. Or If It Were Me, that's the other
Exactly.
one.
Yeah, that's the one I use. If
Yeah.
it was me, yes.
If it were me,
Right,
I
right,
would
right.
chew on alfalfa all day. There you go.
Would you? Would you really? Yeah.
I did. I'll tell you, when I got certified with Dr. Jensen's, I got out of there and I was like vegetarian when I got out of his class. And he was having us chew 15 alfalfa tablets a day. And I'll tell you, I felt like a horse. But you know, my stomach and my bowels were like so good, you know, and I think Ellen still sells that. Yeah, and it was nasty. But you know, hey, it worked. Yeah. So yeah, if it were me, this is what I would do. You can do that.
Right. I have a friend of mine, he's a healer, and he always has a disclaimer, and he
Yeah.
doesn't treat disease. And he says the same thing to me. He says, I hate to do this, but I got to give a disclaimer before we talk any further. And he has that in his text messages and says it legally if he's in front of a client.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some laws that they're trying to pass in California that we're working on stopping. And I work with the Naturopathic Association. We're trying to get this stopped so it doesn't happen. If it happens, it's going to start here and it's going to, of course, go across the United States. And they're trying to shut down everybody that's not licensed. Which, you know, I mean, so many health consultants out there are not licensed. You know, I think that there's just so much, you know, we're making a huge dent, right? We're making a lot of difference in people's lives.
Too much of a difference, you know.
Yeah. So, yeah. So,
Paul,
okay.
I'd be interested. Paul, I'd be interested in your friend's disclaimer if you can get it and send it to Brenda to share with the class.
Sure, I could do that. Sure.
Well, that'll be very nice. Thank you, Paul.
Oh,
Appreciate
you're
that.
welcome. Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Anything else anybody wants to add, or any other questions that I can answer other than big words that I don't know anything about?
One word is begins with an A. You were awesome today or tonight.
Well, thank you.
No, I mean, you know, when you listen to someone else of your wealth of experience, you get a different spin and also a lot of good information.
Thank you. I try. Yeah, I put these things together and then I try to put all my you know, little stories in there to make it fun.
Yeah, well, you can make it fun by when you mentioned fennel, you could have said fanook.
Fanook.
And when you said artichoke, you could have said carciofi.
Yeah, there you go. I could have. That's how you say artichoke in Italian. But my Italian is pretty rusty now.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. All
pretty
right.
bad. Yeah. 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 It's pretty bad. All right. Okay, anything else? All right, everybody. Well, I hope
Thank you.
Jackie.
I already submitted that I will not be available on the 22nd. So that's just an FYI. So I don't have to send you an email.
Oh, okay. You think I'll remember? All right.
You'll remember.
Yeah, Brenda, I think it's going to be a tough time for for anyone who's interested, only because it's the holiday week. You know,
So I'll probably
Thanksgiving.
just go ahead and wait till December then. We'll
I
just
would,
plan on
yeah,
that.
I would, yeah.
We'll just wait till the
Yay!
all right. There, you see, Jackie's happy, and Paul's happy, and Yolanda's happy. I'm sure Beverly's
Now I can
happy.
sleep.
All right.
I'm gonna
sure
put some
everybody's
valerian
happy.
under my feet.
Okay, we'll just do that. That'll make it easier on me too, because I've got a trip to Croatia coming up, so it'll take some pressure off me. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to stop the recording.